Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer is reporting the Atlanta Hawks front office, Landry Fields and Kyle Korver, have been given the green light to consider trade opportunities involving Trae Young. What the heck is going on? I want to hear your thoughts before we continue today's video. Are the Hawks trading Trae Young? What is going on? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Is that actually happening? Because I was just talking about this last night with my friends. I was like, watch in a year, 2024, they sign and trade DeJounte Murray and another sign and trade for Jaylen Brown, and they have a Jaylen Brown Trae Young core. But I want to hear your thoughts. That doesn't seem it's going to happen. So the Hawks have changed everything except Trae Young. So let's talk about this. Shout out Kevin O'Connor, link in the description, the article. So this is a team that's 2 years removed from the Eastern Conference Finals trip. And they had a playoff burst last year, and they got destroyed by the Heat. And, you know, they're going up to face the Heat again. And as this offseason approaches, league sources say the Hawks front office has the green light from ownership to do whatever it wants with the roster, which includes considering trade opportunities involving Trae Young. Kevin O'Connor says this isn't really surprising, because in March, Hawks owner Tony Ressler told The Athletic's Jeff Schultz he's neither opening nor closing the door on any players being moved. And then Shams Charania and Sam Amek earlier reported on the tensions between Trae Young and former head coach Nate McMillan, leading to meetings and, you know, questions about Trae Young's player, leadership. Supposedly, when that whole stuff went down, Nate McMillan was seen as the good guy. Like, all the players on the team sided with Nate McMillan over Trae Young. And Chris Haynes then reported that Young could request a trade this summer if the Hawks failed to make inroads in the playoffs. So now it seems Kevin O'Connor is saying, regardless of Trae's desire to stay, the Hawks have to decide if they want to change course depending on what their exit looks like in the play-in or the postseason. We saw Travis Schlenk step down in December from general manager and basketball operation, and then we saw Landry Fields become the head op, and then assistant GM Kyle Korver become the GM, and then Quinn Snyder be hired in February. Let me take a sip of water. And people are saying in the ensuing months of negotiations leading up to Quinn Snyder's February hire, Quinn Snyder demanded and now wields significant influence over personnel decision. So kind of like a Greg Popovich situation where Kyle Korver and Landry Fields are like R.C. Buford, and Quinn Snyder is now Greg Popovich, as he now is being described as the front office is a collaborative effort. Many high-level decision makers from opposing teams are saying that Quinn Snyder is the one who has final say, though. And it's typical for incoming management to restructure a team in line with their own vision. But what do the Hawks and Snyder hope to build? Kevin O'Connor writes. And the Hawks players have been mentioning the motion concept that Snyder's trying to introduce, which we've seen, and we saw what he did in Utah, but it's nothing close to those Utah offense where he coached 8 seasons and boasted a 58.5% win percentage. Though the Hawks are playing at a brisker pace from 9th in position in Nate McMillan to 1st since Quinn Snyder took over, and the Hawks half-court offense still stagnates, as you see Trae Young, always dribbling the ball, the clock out of the ball, the air out of the ball, really. But they've had limited practice time, as you don't really practice during the season. So Snyder has yet to really assemble his own coaching staff. They keep bringing in new staffs, and supposedly the whole staff will be completely different. And the Hawks went 10-11 since hiring Snyder on a 5-year deal, and the real transformation will happen in training camp. Though Trae Young spent the offseason with working with Steph Curry to be a better off-ball player. What happened? What happened, Trae Young? You guys know that meme? I don't know. That's probably offensive, but I disregard. Either way, he was supposed to be better at off-ball after spending his summer working out with Steph Curry, especially having DeJounte Murray acquired for 3 first-round picks. Shout out Onyeka Okongwu, who's looking good. But look, the hope was, this is what O'Connor writes, Murray would weaponize Young, reminiscent of his Oklahoma days when he played more like Damian Lillard, using screens and handoffs. Use more dribble handoffs, all right? And it's insane because that's what he tapped into in college. It's insane. It's insane. And it's something that doesn't make sense, because when you look at it, this is a guy who has shown his ability, like, to be a 40% three-point shooter at catch and shoots, and Young is the only player with under 1.5 attempted catch and shoot threes a game. So it's just wild. So the real thing is, we're starting to see, regardless of the coach, Trae Young, if he doesn't have the ball, he just stands around and isn't looking for other opportunities. Shows like the reluctance to, you know, even shoot on open opportunities sometimes. Like, it really, like, this season, it was your turn, my turn. And obviously we know Snyder wants to tweak and the habits and optimize Young and Murray, provided that they're both kept. Also, why was AJ Griffin barely playing? Sadiq Bey's looked like a dog. So has Onyeka Okongwu. Love both of those guys. Let's trade Bogdan and Clint Capella. Like, AJ Griffin, Sadiq Bey, and Jalen Johnson all have the skills to flourish in his, in Quinn Snyder's system. That is, dribble handoffs, cutting, off-ball screens, picking, hitting gives, and a motion offense that also would bring out the best of Bogdanovic. Even if they do keep him, I wouldn't mind keeping him. I just think his knees are bad and there's better players. But Young needs to evolve, and he hasn't. And the defense sucks. All right? Like, Trae Young's awful at defense. But look, Snyder's been playing Johnson, who's a 6'8" guy who provides, some interior help, but also has the versatility to step out onto the perimeter. Onyeka Okongwu is going to be the center next year. As good as Clint Capella has been, Okongwu's the younger, outshining him, being able to defend in space and giving them more flexibility. But again, it's the wing defense. DeAndre Hunter continues to suck. Not suck, he underwhelms. And he doesn't have the lateral quickness that we thought he would have. AJ Griffin's inexperienced, and, Young's not even the biggest issue. Yeah, he's, kind of a turnstile, but they don't have anyone to help him out. And I mean, Murray's awesome, and he's a far, better defender. But the problem on offense is Murray takes too many early jumpers in the shot clock, and he's kind of inconsistent on defense, doing that like risk gambit type play. So like, Murray was a better player in San Antonio than he was this year in Atlanta. And Murray needs to justify the hefty price they paid him. That's why I'm saying, if they do a sign and trade in the summer of 2024 of DeJounte Murray and a sign and trade for Jaylen Brown, that'd be pretty freaking cool. So right now, they have the green light to trade him, and I don't know what the hell is going to happen there, because it's weird. Because I don't even know what's the right thing. What do you guys think is the right thing? Because I sit here and I am confused, because none of it makes sense. Okay. So, yeah. Peace out.